Hey spiritual family, it is Dr. Empath here with a pick a card reading. I'm so excited to do this reading today because it is very different and something that I've noticed that maybe people haven't been doing lately. And I'm kind of excited because this reading is for my parents. I know that sometimes we have these things going on with our kids and our children that are in our homes, and I just wanted to kind of just give some guidance to some parents that may be feeling like they don't know what's going on with the relationship between them and their child. And so it can be difficult at times, especially if you have a teenager. It is hard to kind of understand the energies between you and your child sometimes. And even when they're at a young age, it's sometimes difficult to really understand what's going on with them and how to really support them and be of a guidance. But also too, there's two different energies working together, and at times they don't always mesh. And so this is a great time to kind of maybe enhance your relationship with your child, or at least just figure out what the energies are between you two and how to really work on that relationship and make it even better. As I always say, this is about elevating ourselves and working together to make sure that we are at our highest vibration. And so I'm really excited just to kind of do this for my parents that are watching. And so today is for my parents, it's for you, and to figure out what are the energies between you and your child. So as you can see here, we have 3 crystals to choose from. The first crystal is the Jade heart. Then the second one is the Bloodstone heart. And then the third one is the Rose Quartz, okay? And so what I would like for you to do is to take 3 deep breaths and just think about which crystal resonates the most with you. Sometimes I like to pause it and just take a moment just to look at them. If all of a sudden it just says 2 in your mind, or Rose Quartz in your mind, or Jade in your mind, whatever one that you choose, just allow your higher self and allow your body to just relax and really just go with it and choose the one that's best for you. If you have more than one child, you may have a feeling of different ones, and so you may end up picking 2 if you have 2 different children. And so just understand that is okay as well, and it makes sense. And so just choose those 2 and be able to just listen to both, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to figure out which child it is. So once again, we have the Jade as number 1, we have the Bloodstone as number 2, and the third one is the Rose Quartz. Okay, spiritual family, so here we go. We are going to talk about what is the relationship and the energy between you and your child. Let's go on to number 1. Okay, so we are going to now look at the energy between both the parent and the child. The first one we're going to do is we're going to flip over the first energy, and so the energy is between the 2 of them. So both the parent and the child's energy is the lily, and what the lily represents is just a loving, sensual energy. So the relationship and the energy between both individuals is very loving, just a beautiful energy. I can definitely tell that maybe they both very much love each other and have a comfortableness. And so I'm moving on to the actual parent energy. The parent energy here is the coffin. The coffin energy kind of represents a sadness or a loss. And so I do think there has been a loss or a sadness that has come over that parent. I'm going to flip over the first card here. So the first card here is like the Son of Pentacles. And so what the Son of Pentacles pretty much represents is, it represents just having this energy of kind of like working hard and having just a routine of tasks and just kind of staying focused on their goals. And so I do think the mother or the father of this energy is just really moving on and just trying to have these goals and working hard to whatever goals that they're trying to have. And so there's that energy of just really maybe trying to be a good parent and pushing forward and working very hard at just having that good relationship with their child. The next one is, so there is this energy of just not letting the past go. And so when you think about that energy of not letting the past go, there might have been just a loss that has happened previously, and some sadness that has kind of sat with this parent for a while, and they're kind of having a hard time letting it go. And so just looking at the reverse of the Six of Cups, you can kind of see that the parent is having a hard time letting the past be the past. Moving on to here to the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords represents almost like new beginnings, but pushing through towards the next part of the phase of life. But basically they're having probably a hard time figuring out what can't go back, can't go with them in a sense. And so when you look at the past and you can't let the past go, but you know you're trying to move forward, and you know that when you move forward that not everything can go in that whole entire boat, you almost have that sense of sadness. And so I don't know if maybe the parent lost a child, or the relationship between the mother and father just kind of stopped, or they're ending, but there is a loss and a sadness that's going on with this parent that is creating this feeling of just not wanting to let go of whatever they thought they wanted in that moment. And then with the Hierophant card, that pretty much just represents just having, and it is reversed, just having difficulty with not allowing the external stuff to be the priority, and having external like approval. And so there might be some feelings of wanting to look like the best parent, and so I think that's where the hard-working piece is coming in. I think the parent just wants to be a great parent and wants to look like a good parent, everyone to feel like this parent is just amazing, but they're not realizing that there's some sadness going on and some things that are ending for them. And so they're trying to move forward with their life while also trying to kind of keep up with, you know, being the parent of the year. And so what that's creating is this sadness between the parent. And so now we're going to look into the child and kind of see what's the energy within the child. So the child has the bird energy, and the bird energy kind of just represents like a chatting or chatter. Does mean like communication. And so let's kind of figure out what that energy is coming from. So the Daughter of Cups is a beautiful card. What the Daughter of Cups kind of just represents is just the feeling of just like new ideas and manifestation in a sense. And so when you look at this card, this child is definitely excited about some of the possibilities and the things that are coming ahead for that child. And so you have this happy kind of go lucky energy that's going on of just being excited about the next phase of their life. Looking forward into the Three of Wands. And so like the Three of Wands, what that represents is just kind of having the energy of and it is reverse, which kind of just indicates just having some difficulty with having some unexpected problems and things that are going to happen. There's some disappointment that is coming their way in a sense. And so they're seeing all these opportunities and possibilities, and they're really excited about the things that are going on in their life. However, they're not realizing that there are some difficulties kind of coming ahead that is going to lead to some type of disappointment and frustration for this child. And so what the Two of Wands kind of represent, the Seven of Wands, what the Seven of Wands kind of represents, and it is in reverse, what it kind of represents is like the child just really having difficulty with like having like doubts of like who they can be in a sense. And so they're having this energy of just being excited and the communication, and they're like, yeah, you know, these are things I want. But I think there's also, they're doubting themselves because of maybe some of the things that's going on at home. And so I think what's happening is this child has such a bubbly and chatter type of personality, but because of some of the difficulties that are maybe happening at home with the parent in a sense, and you know, we all know children can feel their parents' energy. Children are so amazing, and even if your child is an adult, I'm still gonna say your child because that is your child. Your child has a beautiful, beautiful energy, but because they know that you're going through stuff, they see certain obstacles that are happening, and it's making them doubt the abilities and the manifestations that they have within themselves. And so kind of just looking at this card, this is the wish card. And so what that's saying is like, with the 9 of Cups, it's like basically saying like, my wish is your command in a sense. And so this child has a wonderful energy of being able to manifest the things that they want. However, they're seeing you go through certain things and a loss right now of whatever is going on with you, or a sadness. And it's kind of feeding into their manifestation. It's feeding into their own beliefs within themselves. And so you kind of have to look at that energy and ask yourselves, like, you know, why am I not allowing myself to kind of release certain things that just don't serve me anymore, so that way my child can see me move forward in life, whatever the sadness or frustrations or the unexpected issues that come my way, I still push forward and I still allow myself to be beautiful and move on with life and continue on rowing my boat onto the next journey or onto the next situation. And so I think with this child here is having difficulty just really manifesting things, because they're seeing the self-doubt and the doubt that you have within yourself, and some of the things that are going on with you that they're not necessarily thinking about themselves and seeing themselves as manifestors in a sense, but they can't do that because they're constantly kind of seeing you go through your stuff. And so some of the things that we'll look at right now is, what is the outcome? The outcome is the Ankh. The Ankh is a beautiful spiritual card. And so what I will say is that there's a spiritual awakening that is going to happen between the both of you, because I think your child's beautiful energy is going to make you realize that life is so amazing because you have this beautiful child. And so when you focus on some of the things of saying, you know what, these are the amazing things that I have, these are some of the amazing things that are coming my way, and one major blessing is the blessing of my child. And so allowing yourself to kind of come back to the beautiful soul that you are, and allowing your child to see that, yes, I may go through things, but I'm going to push through. And so the advice is the child. So the advice of the child is kind of like childlike behavior in a sense. And so what I will say is, allow yourself to be almost childlike. Start thinking about some of the things that you love to do and do them with your child. Start doing activities together. Start doing some other things that help each other kind of bond. And so when you look at the child card and the Ankh, it's basically saying like, your spirituality and who you guys are very connected. And so when you decide to kind of be more childlike and not allow certain things and external things that happen in your life to affect your emotional being, they're going to also be childlike as well and realize that they can manifest all the things that they want within themselves and continue to feel strong and confident. And you'll start feeling more strong and confident because you'll remind yourself that you've manifested the child that you currently have, who is an amazing person. And so moving on to this one, this is the Goddess of Swords. And so the Goddess of Swords in some ways represents like and it is reversed. And so it does, and this card actually is, what's the outcome? So when you look at the Goddess of Swords in reverse, it kind of indicates like, in some ways, you kind of think with your heart and not with your head, and not being able to, in some ways, kind of put your emotions to the side. And so what it's saying is that your outcome could be that you're kind of thinking too much within your heart. You're allowing the sadness and all the emotion to kind of take over, instead of thinking with your head of saying, you know what, this situation happened. It's a loss and it is sad, but I can move forward with my life because of the simple fact that all of the amazing things that I currently have in my life is enough. And so just looking at these cards here, you have the 8 of Pentacles, and the 8 of Pentacles is also an amazing and beautiful card, because what that represents is just having mastery over a skill. And so when you work hard at just moving on and moving past certain things, you're going to have such a mastery at it that you're going to continue that energy, that vibration that you need to be on. Because right now, you're working towards a lower vibration because you're working out of sadness and out of loss. And that's okay, but at some point you have to vibrate higher. And one of those things is by saying, this is a lesson learned, or this situation happened because there's other things that are kind of leading me on this path. This is part of my journey. Even the bad things, and it's so hard because I actually had to say that to myself the other day, of saying like, certain things that happen to us that we're just so upset and sad and feel like it's just unfair, they're either our lesson in our journey, or they're just part of our journey to get to the destination that we're kind of ultimately looking for, in a sense, and our greatest purpose. And so looking forward to just the Chariot of just reminding yourselves that it is the Chariot in reverse. And so kind of what the Chariot represents is just that energy of lacking clarity of the situation. And so when you look and think about things, the only way that you're going to find clarity, and that's why this card is together, is not being emotional. When you're too emotionally all over the place, it puts you in a place of just not being able to think clearly. And when you can't think clearly, you can't listen to your intuition, you can't listen to your higher self, which means you're not connecting to God. And so if you're thinking of it that way, it's like, if I have lack of clarity, it's because I'm not in tune with myself, and I'm not following my intuition. And if I'm not following my intuition, I'm not following my higher self. And if I'm not following my higher self, then I'm not connected with God. And so what I will say is about all this energy is that you can 100% be the woman or man that you want to be for, and the parent that you want to be for your child. However, you have to get through your own sadness and grief and push through those things and say they're either a lesson, or they're teaching us and putting us in position of, that is just what part of my journey. And so now we're going to look into one of these cards here. All right. Okay, 2 candles. Oh, 3 or 4. This one says, where are you being called to, where are you being called to journey to? And so what that means is, like, what is your journey? What is your journey asking you to go through? And just like I said before, like, what is your journey? It's part of your journey. And so looking towards the journey of your life, that's how you're gonna be like, oh, that's why this happened. And although it was devastating and heartbreaking, at the same time, now I understand why my journey led me there to move forward. And so even looking at protection, call on your power, cut your cords, soul retrieval. And that's the same thing. Like, cutting your cords means don't take things that just don't serve you anymore. If you're moving forward in your life, certain things just can't come on your boat, or it's going to be too much weight, and your boat's not going to float, and it's not going to move as quickly as you need it to. So sometimes you have to release certain energy and certain things in order to move as quickly as you want them to on your boat. And then looking at the warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? And so maybe you need to look within yourself too and say, what is my deepest calling? What is it that is my higher self trying to tell me that I need to move forward onto? And then birthing of a new age means birthing new creations and dreaming new worlds into being. And so I do feel like you're moving into a new phase of your life, this parent. And so with your child is watching you and wishing the same things. And so just making sure you understand as being the parent, that your child is watching how you move through your phases, okay? And then also double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. And like I said just now, like, just make sure you understand that your child is just a reflection of you as well. And so this child has this chatter and good communication and just loving, but is seeing their parent go through such loss and sadness. But you have to understand that they're looking to see how you respond to all those things. And how you respond, it more than likely is how your child's going to end up responding. I'm going to do one of these from my Metatron deck. Lilac, higher realms and magic. And so, like, kind of what that means is just like you're moving on to just higher your higher self, in a sense. And when you're moving on to your higher self and really like moving on to a higher vibration, it allows you to create magic. And magic is miracles. You know, when we think about magic is almost like, in some ways, like prayer. Magic is spells is prayer. And however you want to say it, it's basically saying that your wish is your command. And so if you really use the magic within yourself and connect with yourself and connect with God and really stay in tune with yourself, all the things that you want in your life are going to bring out those blessings, which is your manifestation. Okay. Personal issues reach resolution. And so once again, if whatever is going on with you with this sadness, understand that your personal issue and that issue is going to be resolved. And so don't feel like it's not going to happen for you. It is, but you have to let certain things go and remind yourself that you're moving forward. And then don't let pride get in your way. Ask for help. If you need help or need assistance, ask for it. I always say, like, you know, I tell people all the time, please email me, go on my website. If you ever need support and love and light, I'm so more than welcome to do so. This is what I love to do. And so if you're really needing support and, you know, you are in a financial situation, just email me, let me know, and we can work something out. But just understand that if you have no one, you definitely have me, 100%. And so if you do have people that are close with you, speak with them, talk with them, let them kind of get you out of your rut. And then we're going to go with one more card here. Oh, gave you two. The camel, trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. So remind yourself that you have challenges, but you have the resources to move forward, and you have the resources to really help you get through those tough times. And then the Roadrunner, keep the sense of humor and don't take things so seriously. That's so funny because that's kind of what the child is saying, like being more childlike. I can't make this up, man. Keep your sense of humor and take those things not so seriously. Allow life to just be life and allow your journey just to be your journey, because it is your journey. And once you just let go and allow God to kind of just take over and your higher self and your intuition just take over, it really pushes you to your fullest potential. And so this is the reading for my beautiful Jade parents. I love you, and once again, you can do this, get through it, and you just know that you have a wonderful, wonderful child that is watching you and wishing the same exact things that you want in life. And so at least you know that you have that partner, and your partner is your child. All right, moving on to number 2. Okay, spiritual family, we are now moving on to deck number 2, which is the Bloodstone. And so we are going to talk about the relationship and energy between the parent and the child for all the folks that decided to choose the Bloodstone. Okay, so here we go. We are starting off with the energy between the parent and the child. The energy between the parent and the child is the key. The key energy pretty much represents like just an energy of, in some ways, like a revelation or openness. And so there is like an openness and very direct relationship between the child and the parent. And so what I will say is that the relationship is very open yeah, it's like, I'm getting this weird energy of just almost to the point where they either tell each other everything, or it's just very open to the point where, you know, there's no secrets, okay? And so for the parent energy is the coffin. Wow, you know, first deck was the same thing. So that's interesting. And so there is a loss or sadness that's going on. Not sure of what it is, but there is a loss or sadness that's going on with the parent. The first one is the 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords pretty much just represents this kind of just this energy of pretty much like they're blindfolded, they feel stuck. There's this sense of just not knowing what to do, how to even take the blindfold off. And so they're feeling kind of mentally trapped, and there's this negative thinking that's going on with this parent. And so what I will say is there may be because of the loss that has happened previously, or some sadness that is going on, that has happened, that they're having this feeling of just feeling they don't know where to turn. They feel very trapped emotionally. And then moving on to, there's the Three of Pentacles, which means teamwork if it's on the right side, but because this is reversed, you're kind of seeing this energy of lack of teamwork approach, lack of feeling like they want to be around individuals and have that teamwork feeling. And so there might be that feeling of not wanting to be around their child at this time, maybe due to the sadness or frustration or situation that's going on with them. And so they're kind of in some ways pushing their child away. So the fact that they're having some openness energy, and now the parent is kind of feeling a little more closed off and just not working together with that child, I'm sure there's going to be some energy that the child is exhibiting as well. And so moving on to the Strength card, which is good, this parent has a lot of strength. And so although they may be pushing themselves away from and not being as connected to people and having that teamwork approach, that they are having this feeling of having strength in a sense. So they do feel strong within themselves. And so because they feel strong within themselves, you can definitely tell that the energy that they have is they know they'll get through it. They know that they're going to move past it. It's just in this moment in time, they're going through something. And so that's so funny, because the Eight of Wands, so the Eight of Wands pretty much represents this, pretty much what I just said. And so it just represents just having this, they're feeling like they're having struggles, but it is going to clear up. So their energy is that they do have the strength to move forward. And then as you can see with this Eight of Wands and the picture of it, it's like they have the strength and they're pushing through, and they are going to get through it. It's just right now, I think there's just some sadness. So I don't even think it's even completely like a loss. It's just some sadness that's going on with whatever's going on with themselves, and they're feeling a little trapped, like they don't know emotionally, like where to go next. So they're not having that in some ways openness or teamwork approach with their child like they used to. And so with the child energy is the Clover. It's a very lucky energy. And so this energy is kind of just represents just having that energy of being happy and not troubled. And so what I will say is this child is not necessarily as affected, because their energy just exudes happiness. And so what I will say is that they do have this harmony energy, so they want to be harmonized with their parent, and that might be where the openness is coming from. The child's having this great energy of feeling loved and harmonized with this parent. And so regardless of what they're going through, I think they want to be there for their parent. They have that energy of wanting to make their parent feel better. And so with the God of Swords, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Okay, so let me tell you something really crazy, right? So I was shuffling, and this card flopped out as I just started to shuffle. And sometimes I hate when that happens, because I like to shuffle for a little bit before things fall out. And so I put it back in, and it came right back. So I love when that happens, because it just proves to me that like it came out for a reason. And so it's like, no, it was supposed to be there. So it's awesome. So the God of Swords, and what the God of Swords pretty much just represents is that strength, once again, that energy of pretty much just the energy of wanting to be powerful and having a sense of clarity and being connected. And so like I said before, like this child wants to be there for their parent. They really want to show that they are here for them and they have the same strength. And it's kind of like, it's a beautiful energy. Making me a little emotional. It's just this energy of like, this child is noticing like, okay, my parent is going through something, so let me kind of like be there for him or her. So it's just a beautiful energy, and you have a child that loves you dearly and hates to see you struggle. And so with that being said, I do think because of that, they're having almost like a sense of depression in a sense. And they're feeling very depressed because they don't like seeing their parent like this. So they're trying to build up this love and harmony and push through and say, I got you, parent. Like, I got you, mom, or I got you, dad. You know, we can get through this together, and you guys will. But understand that this child has such a, like you said, there's such an openness with both of your energies with each other, that you guys are so connected that when they see you hurt, they hurt. And so I think that's the reason why, like, they're having this sense of like depression energy going on right now, because they don't like seeing you struggle or seeing you upset. And so there is this stuckness of trying to move forward and push through all of it, because they're seeing you struggle. And although they know that you'll get through it and you'll both get through it together, the Ace of Swords kind of just represents just this energy of like not being able to kind of push through the situation and having a little bit harder time kind of not having that clarity. So when you don't have clarity, you can't really like push through the situation. And so I think because there's a lack of teamwork on the parent's end, and the parent is not being eyes open with the child of what's going on, that child's having some lack of clarity of what they can do to help their parent move forward. And it makes sense, because as parents, you want to shield your child from what goes on and make sure that, you know, they're not hurting as much as you, but you also have to understand that the energy that you have with your child, you guys are very connected. You guys are so connected. And with that key card right here, the key card represents an openness that you guys have. And like I said, I stopped when I was like feeling the energy between you two, because it's like almost to the point where you're so connected, you are each other. And so when you have that type of energy, you have to understand that when you hold back, that is almost kind of stopping the beautiful flow that you have with your child. And so what's going to end up happening is they're going to feel depressed. They're going to feel certain emotions because you are stopping the beautiful flow that you already have with your child. So what I would say is, don't hide what's going on. If you don't want to completely be open and sharing, I understand that. But just understand that when you do that, you kind of stop the beautiful flow that you have with each other, which creates this energy of not feeling like you're being a team with your child. And so your child is having this depression and this anxiety feeling because they don't know how to help you. And so you're kind of, it's so crazy, because look how the cards are. Just take a moment and just look at the cards. It's so crazy. Okay. The love and affection that the child and harmony the child's having while you're trying to push through your strength. Your strength card is here, and their strength card is here. Power, strength, this is the strength card. Then when you are not having this harmony going on, which you're not having teamwork, what's happening is you're creating anxiety because the child doesn't know what's going on. Then because you are blindfolded, and this is so crazy, you're blindfolded and you don't know where to turn, and you emotionally don't know where to turn, they're having a lack of clarity and don't know how to help you push through. You guys are so connected, so connected. And because of that, you have to realize that when you decide to do certain things, there's a chain reaction for this child, because you're so connected with each other. It would be different if you guys were very different, very independent, do your own thing type of thing. You guys are able to do your own thing, but you're so connected that you almost need to like let each other know what you're up to. And that's what the sense of openness is. That you guys don't have this like closed door policy with each other. It's like literally the door is always open with each other. And so you guys don't necessarily keep secrets. And so if you're deciding to keep a secret or omit certain things, the child's going to understand and feel that energy. And it's going to kind of play into how your relationship with each other. And in some ways, their emotional well-being. pen pal, which is the letter. So what that means is like, it means communication in a sense. The pen pal is like talking. Sometimes it can mean like social media in a sense. And so what I will say is that the outcome is that you guys need to communicate. Have these conversations with each other and be open. Don't close that door, and don't shield each other from some of the truth, because all that's going to do is bring anxiety and frustration with each other. Craziness. The bear is leadership, but it also can mean aggression. And so like I just said, they can be frustrated or become upset. That is what's going to happen. Do not shield your child from what is going on. Talk to them. It's okay to talk, like maybe even write down what you want to say, so that way you say it in an eloquent way that makes them feel comfortable, if that's what you want to do. But you cannot shield your child from this. Whatever's going on or whatever you're feeling, you need to be open and honest with your child of what's going on, because you'll be surprised. Your child may actually surprise you and give you some ideas on how to move forward, or say something that makes you like it clicks for you and you feel better, because you're like, dang, like I can't believe my child just said that out of their mouth. Your children are so wise, and like I think sometimes we don't give children enough credit because they're super intuitive, because they haven't been through so much, and sometimes because they haven't been through so much that they have a lack of fear. And so there's just this openness and this intuitiveness that they have, because there's no fear behind it and there's no anxiety necessarily behind it. What creates anxiety and fear are the things that goes on in this earth that creates them. But when they're young, especially when they're young, so I'm talking about our younger children who maybe at the age of 3 to even almost 10, if they don't go through certain things, they have a lack of fear. But even if you have a child who's an adult, and they haven't been through major situations, there's more openness and more clarity sometimes, because there's nothing that's stopping them from really being intuitive within themselves. And so saying that, the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups pretty much just represents the being able to walk away from the disappointment that has happened. And so that's crazy how this card came up, because it means like it's time to just walk away and let almost like the situation be what it is, and say, okay, like this is what happened, but now I'm moving forward and I'm just leaving those things behind. And yeah, it is disappointing, but it's time to move on. And so with the Hanged Man is actually in reverse. And so the Hangman in reverse basically means just having like a realization that, you sacrifice too much and you receive in some ways not enough in return. And so when you think about those things, I think what is happening is something happened and it created some sadness because things just didn't work out exactly how you wanted them to. And sometimes you have to just kind of say it is what it is, and this is part of my journey, and I've learned from these lessons. But I'm also realizing that it's time for me to kind of just like let it go and move on. And you pretty much just realize that maybe you just put too much energy into it without kind of feeling or realizing that you probably could have stepped away a little sooner. So whatever happens, just understand that it's part of your journey, and it's probably just going to help you realize how connected, even more connected you are with your child, and that you need to maybe just be more open with your child, because they could probably help you in a sense. And so once again, with the Ten of Pentacles reverse, the Ten of Pentacles reverse means like just a lack of kind of just in some ways clarity to move forward and move into the energy that you really wish to be in a sense. And so you kind of have to think of it as a way of saying that you have to just kind of in some ways just realize that the choices that you make lead you to a specific direction. And sometimes when you're like walking a specific path and you decide to maybe go a little left, that God and your higher self and the universe kind of throws little things at you, little hints, little warning signs, right? There's warning signs, but you're deciding to keep moving forward and keep driving towards in that direction, but you keep seeing these signs like turn around, turn around, turn around, but you continue to move forward, and then you end up at a dead end. And then you moved all the way left and you kept going, and now you have to go back. And I think what basically it's trying to say is like, you have to realize that that's a choice that you made. It's a lesson learned, and now it's just time to kind of revert back, just, get yourself back on track. But understand that all those things just are lessons. They're lessons of life. And I think what that means is that your child is basically, I think this lesson is really to almost teach you too that, you're very connected with your child. And so being more open with your child is so, so important. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand behind you. And so what I will say is, when I see you're not alone, you and your child are always going to be connected. And so understand that even when you feel alone, like, it's okay to call your child. Something that I feel like our society makes us believe is that you have to be perfect in order to create perfect children. You have to be the perfect parent. You have to show that you're an awesome parent. Your child has to see that you're always strong. You're super mom all the time. That's so cliche, and it's actually the worst thing you can do for your child, because you're not teaching your child that things happen. So you kind of almost make a child think that life is always beautiful and life is always great, and it's not. So when they become adults and things go wrong in their life, they don't even know how to react because they didn't get to see what you've been through. And so what I will say is being open and honest with your child about some of the things that you go through. It helps them realize, ooh, okay, my mom did that. I want to make sure that I don't do the same thing. Or, oh, my mom did that, and look how she moved forward. Okay, when I get to that place, I need to do that in order so I can move forward. And so you have to realize that being perfect is not going to allow you to have that real connection with your child. Being open and telling your child what's going on is the best way to keep that connection with your child, to the point where you're going to help them become even better than you, which is ultimately what you want. Confidence is your key to success. So be confident. Be confident within yourself. Be confident with your child. Be confident with the energy and the relationship that you have with your child. Be confident that everything that you say and do has a greater purpose. Ooh, that one fell out fast. Wolverine, you're a lot tougher than you think you are. Perfect one, because it talks about strength. You are so strong and strong-willed, and so you have to remind yourself that your strength is your biggest asset. And so showing your strength with your child is so important, but also showing them of when you are weak a little bit, but you know that you can get through it. Ooh, that one fell out fast. Healing, pause and receive. Oh, pause to receive. So healing is so important. So what I will say is that maybe you need to take time to yourself to heal, and healing can be taking a bath and allowing yourself to meditate in your bath. I love Reiki. Maybe finding somebody that does Reiki right now, remote Reiki. I'm actually one of those people. So if you are looking for a session, of course, hit me up. But also another way too is kind of just something that's very healing is going outside and like hugging a tree, or taking some time to yourself to clean. Sometimes cleaning and just cleaning your space is also very healing. It's also cleansing as well. And so just find those things that really help you kind of get back to yourself, and just making sure that you take time for yourself through this process. Oh my God. I love when these things happen. It's so cool. Cleanse. I just said it. Oh, okay. I just want to take a moment and just say, oh my gosh. So yeah, make sure you cleanse. Like I said, taking time to cleanse your body. I won't repeat myself, but just if me telling you wasn't enough, this moment and situation just happened right now should tell you right now that this is what you need to do. Heal and cleanse, okay? So finding ways to cleanse yourself. Also, sage is wonderful for cleansing yourself. If you don't really like the crazy sense of smell that sage has, there's also sage spray. If you go on Etsy, Etsy's amazing. But I also really, really love Tao herb. It is actually what I'll try to see if I can do is put a link or something like that in the comments. But they are amazing. Tao herbs, which is I believe in New Mexico, but they ship stuff over. They have the best sage spray. Like, I spray it like 3 times on myself and I feel like I just cleanse my entire body. So just finding different ways to really cleanse yourself is just super important. And just, once again, like I said, the energy between you and your child is just, it's so beautiful. I would say that you are blessed, very blessed to have the relationship that you have with your child, because I know certain people don't have this type of relationship with their child, and it is beautiful, and you're very connected and you have this openness. But just remind yourself that when you close yourself off from the child is going to have a reaction to it. And so just remind yourself that your child has the strength card as well, and can handle all the things that you provide them. If they can handle some of the things that you're going through, because it's going to help them in the long run learn how to get through those tough times if those arise for themselves. So with that being said, it is a beautiful energy, and work through it, and just know that I love you and that I'm hoping that you get through it, and I'm sending you all types of love and light. But you have such a light of a child in you. And so we are going to close out and move to deck number 3. Okay, spiritual family, we are at the last deck, which is the Rose Quartz deck. We are going to talk about the energy between the parent and the child, and what's the relationship that they have currently. So the first part is going to be the energy between the child and the parent, which is the Rider. The Rider card pretty much represents a energy of fast motion or temporary joy, and so there is just this fast-paced temporary joy type of feeling with the relationship. I think what the relationship kind of has is this seems somewhat like adventurous. That's kind of the word that came to mind, honestly. Just this adventurous type of feel of the relationship. And so with the parent energy is very strong leadership, but can be also aggression. Interesting. So maybe the fast pace and fast motion has to do with the energy and the it's like a high energy feeling. I think that's the reason why I was thinking adventurous. It's like this high energy, high fast pace, just somewhat aggressive energy. So let's see what the parent is feeling. The first thing is the Daughter of Pentacles. So the Daughter of Pentacles, but it is reversed. It represents just the feeling of like trying to, in some ways, like manifest something, or trying to like move and get something done, but it's not working out as quickly as possible, and that might be where the aggression is coming from. I think maybe the parent is trying to either get like a new job or trying to like level up in some shape or form, but is having difficulty doing so. So there's a lack of loving energy going on because they're just frustrated and annoyed right now. The God of Wands kind of represents just this energy of, how should I say this? Like there's a definite strength that is going on, but like also in a sense of just kind of having this energy of being more like confident, but that they know that the opportunity is coming. So although they are frustrated, I do think they know that it is coming. Like they're gonna get a new job, or they're gonna get this new opportunity or whatever. But there's this like, I wonder if you're like a workaholic. And there's just this very energy of just being very goal-driven energy, which creates the frustration and the aggression piece, or the high-level energy piece of it. The Justice card. The Justice card is reversed, and pretty much what that means is just having that sense of, how should I say this? It's like, so interesting, because it's like, this parent is so on the prize, tunnel vision, that they're almost willing to do whatever they got to do to get where they want to get at, and it's creating this aggressive and over the top energy. The primary focus, I feel like, is work and just kind of getting through certain phases and doing certain things for themselves, in a sense, which is making them in some ways not morally, just not in a good place morally within themselves. And so with the Goddess of Cups being there, the Goddess of Cups pretty much just represents like the feeling of like you're trying to like trust your intuition in a sense, and you're like, okay, I know this is gonna work, and it's good energy. It's great energy when it comes to career, but this isn't a career reading. This is a child and a parent reading, and so I'm gonna see what the child is feeling. But what I'm probably guessing is there's this lack of being able to pay attention to their child, in a sense, or their energy is off because the parent is more focused on work and tunnel vision and getting their goals, which is amazing. But when you have a child, the child sometimes feels neglected. So let's just see what comes up. Yeah, so the mice card came up. And the mice card pretty much represents like destruction, defeat, deficiency. And so that's so crazy. Your child feels defeated in some shape or form, and we'll get into a little bit more in a minute. But there is this feeling of destruction / deficiency feeling and energy. Yeah, so there's just this lack of just harmony, in a sense, where they kind of don't really know what direction they're going on, in a sense. The Ten of Pentacles pretty much just represents that like they're questioning their choices, and there's a lack of like stability going on. And so I think what it is they're lacking the stability within the relationship with you, because you are so focused on work and your personal stuff that you're doing and trying to just level up for yourself, but you're kind of in some ways neglecting, like I said, your child because of what's going on with it's basically like they feel like there's deficiency with the relationship. And I don't want to upset you, but I want you to understand the energy that you're presenting to your child, which is probably what's creating certain things and certain behaviors that you and your child are having. The Daughter of Swords, which is reversed. The Daughter of Swords pretty much just represents the energy of almost like not having almost like the confidence with themselves, and like they're emotional, and I do think the emotional piece is coming from the fact that they don't really know or have the stability within their relationship with you. And so because you're not tending to them, in some ways they're feeling in some ways all over the place within themselves, and they don't feel stable in a sense, and they're having this feeling of just really it's like, and it almost almost creates like a recklessness within them. And so I don't know if they're doing any reckless behavior, but if they are, or defiant behavior, and if they are, it's really to get your attention. And so I just want you to kind of have an understanding that when children do like random or ridiculous or crazy things, a lot of the times it's attention-seeking behavior, and you'll end up seeing this type of behavior with children who feel neglected or not heard. And so I just want you to recognize that when your child is doing reckless things and acting out and whatnot, it's really to get your attention. Yeah, and then the Fool card came up, and so the Fool card in reverse pretty much just represents like a foolishness in a sense, and like making like in some ways poor decisions. Yeah, this child is probably doing a lot of stuff that's pissing you off. And I think that's where the aggression is coming from as well. Like, the child's not doing what you want them to do, but they're not doing what you want them to do because you're not doing what they want you to do, which is to be with them and to spend time with them. Yeah, and so with the Eight of Cups kind of means like disappointment and walking away from disappointment. And I think the child's realizing that although they're doing all these crazy things to get your attention, it's still not working. And so they feel almost in some ways defeated, and feeling those feelings of just, they know that they're not going to get what they want from you. So at this point, they just, like I said, like, they don't know what to do at this point. Yeah, I think what they're missing out on, they love you 100%. I just think if they didn't love you, their cards would be completely different. Their cards would be fine. They would have all these, beautiful pentacle cards and all this other stuff that's going on with them. But they're having a really difficult time with this. And what that's telling you is that they do love you, and they love you so much that it's hurting them that you're not paying attention to them as much as they would like you to. And so the outcome is the ring. The ring means cycles. And so this is going to create a cycle. And what I mean by that is that this is going to keep happening until some energy shifts. You're going to have to shift your energy and start focusing more on your child and the energy and relationship between them. And clearly you want to know because you're watching this. And so that's also a great way, because you're also already shifting the energy because you're listening to me on this video right now and you're wondering and you care. So you're already shifting this energy. So after this, I know that the relationship is going to get better because you're listening. You're like, whoa, like I had no idea, or, ooh, okay, I saw that coming. And so what I will say is break that cycle, because what's going to happen is understand that your children become adults, and the behaviors that you exhibit is the behaviors that are probably going to exhibit their own children. And what I will say, and I'm saying this because it kind of came up just now, you may have had this relationship with your parent at one point, or felt neglected from your parents at some point in your life. And so I think for you, you're trying to be an amazing parent by giving them all the things that they need, probably financially, and making sure that they see how amazing you are and how dope you are career-wise and stuff. And that's all great, but sometimes your children just want the love and the attention from you. And it's so crazy that this energy came up with the rose quartz, because the rose quartz represents of love. And more of like a feminine energy. And so I think what is happening is these are probably cycles that are happening that is more of like a ancestral cycle that you need to really kind of get rid of and disconnect from and cut those cords. And if you do that, then you'll find that love. And the Lily card just represents love and sensual energy. And so what that means is that the love will be there, and you'll have an amazing relationship with your child if you just get rid of that, these cycles that are being created. And so you have here is the reverse card of the Empress. And the Empress represents, in reverse, like a lack of creativity in a sense. And so maybe start thinking of creative ways to like work with your child or have fun with your child and do some fun activities to kind of rebuild the relationship. Don't just spend time with them by like, I don't know, making them sit with you while you do your work. That's not connecting. Be more creative. Maybe cook dinner with each other. Maybe I know sometimes it's hard, like being in the house. So like if you're doing something in the house, maybe make like a scavenger hunt in the house. If the child's older, maybe watch some cool movies that they want to watch. Say, hey, you pick out 3 movies that you want me to watch with you, and let them pick it out. And you'll be surprised what they pick out too, because sometimes what they pick out is a sense of what is going on with them too, and that could be a great segue to like start a communicative communication with that child, and really be able to have them open up and tell you really how they feel. And so with the God of Cups being represented there, the God of Cups pretty much talks about just having that energy of, and it is reverse, of like daydreaming, or not daydreaming, but like in some ways just kind of, it's like you're too focused on your own stuff and your own feelings. And so, like I said, like I think that's why the creativity card is coming out. Like, don't think about what you want to do. Think about what your child would like to do with you. Don't think about like, oh, like let me try to fit it in. Don't try to fit it in. Make the time to really spend time with your child, because that's what your child wants. It wants the attention. It wants to think that they are a priority, as they should be. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold, the initiation. And so I do think that means just like, in some ways just crossing over the threshold of, I don't know why it's coming up in my head, but like crossing over to their bedroom. Like basically like you see this line and you're like, oh, here we go. Because I know, basically you know what's about to go down, you know, whether it be the annoying behavior or them rolling their eyes at you like they act like they don't want to spend time with you, whatever it is, you're gonna have to walk over that threshold and have that conversation with your child and figure out fun activities and fun ways to connect with each other. Trust the path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? And so basically that's saying is like, trust your path. Understand that like this is happening for a lesson. And I really do think the lesson is to break the chains of our ancestral issues that we have. And it could be passed down from parent to parent of being workaholics or just focusing on things that for yourself to provide for your family or provide for your child, not realizing that your child just really wants to connect with you. It's just really important. The mountain goat. There's something out of balance in your life, so whatever you need to do to correct it. The out of balance is basically just the relationship between you and your child and the energy that you both have. It's like they want your attention, but you're focused on work. So like that's the imbalance that's going on right now. And so that's just furthering, that just further validates what's going on. You are not alone. We're all here for you. We never left. Through all the sadness and loneliness, however, you cannot sense us near you or feel how much love we are sending you. We are your family, friends, and guides. You never walk alone. We walk right behind you, or right beside you. So understand that, like, your ancestors, your spiritual guides, your guardian angels, your God, everything that you believe in, they are watching over you and they're walking you through this life and this journey. And so just understand that this journey is to really help you. And if you're watching this video, you're already elevating and raising your vibration. And so what that's telling you is like they're still with you and they're guiding you through this journey. And so I think that's the reason why, honestly, like I love doing these parent relationship ones, because I think it's so needed. We want to always think about relationships between our partners, but we never really do those relationships between our children, and they're so important. And so my goal is to make you realize that you're never alone, and the energies that are going on within your home, it can be hard. And so the support that you will always have will never go away. Ooh, that came out fast. Review and reflection. Timeout is needed. So that, like I said, timeout. It's time to take a timeout from your career. You are manifesting like nobody's business, and you will have everything that you want when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your career. However, do not sacrifice your relationship with your child just for your career. You don't have to do that. You can manifest both. Great relationship, great career. And so just remind yourself that maybe it's time to take a step back and do some reflecting, because you focus so much on this side of the house. Let's try to take a step back, review, reflect, and move towards really providing more time for your child, so that way you can build that relationship. And so we're going to do our last one here. Expect powerful change. So like I said, like, you will have this change, and it's going to be beautiful. The lily's there. You guys will be connected to each other. Like I said, your child loves you and they want this relationship. If that wasn't the case, they wouldn't be showing all of these cards. They would be doing awesome things and having these awesome cards, and it would just be that you guys are disconnected. But that's not the case. They want to connect with you. And so it's time to take a step back and say, okay, let me prioritize having a great relationship with my child, which means that I need to start thinking about what are the things that they want to do, not just what I want to do with them. What are some things that they want to do, and really rebuilding that relationship. So I hope this reading was helpful for you. I'm sending you lots of love and light between the two of you, and I know that you guys can do this. I know the feelings are going to be hard to kind of push through, but you can do it. You both want the relationship, so work on it. All right, and as always, please contact me if you have any questions. The best thing to do is to comment below. I love to hear the stories, or I love to hear how this resonated with you the most, and how I can better support you all. I want to continue these parent and child readings, and I want to explore more ways of doing that. And so if you have any thoughts, or saying like, hey, I would love a reading on this, please comment below. I'm reading them, and it really does help me kind of figure out what, as you all, I'm here for you all, so it kind of helps me to determine what I need to do for my spiritual family, and that's what's important to me. And so just please let me know, comment below, please hit the subscribe, so that way every single time I post something, you're not wondering if I'm posting. It kind of pops up on your phone and lets you know that the next video has been up and running. And so please make sure you comment, subscribe, like, do all those things. But if you want a personal reading or a personal remote healing, please click on my website and sign up, or you can actually just email me at dr.empath333 at gmail.com. And so as always, just know that I love you guys, and I appreciate you watching my videos. And like I said, we are only here to vibrate high with each other, support each other, send love, and really connect, and making sure that we are always connected to God and our higher selves, to the universe, and just making sure that we change the energy around us. All right, so love and light always.